Courage, Awaken Your Inner Strength. Written and recorded by Books. All rights reserved. Courage. 6 letters that carry unimaginable power. It's the force that propels us when everything seems lost, the light that shines in the darkest nights, and the essence that makes us truly human. Imagine a child with bright eyes, facing the vast and unknown world ahead. With a heart pounding, they take their first steps. This simple yet monumental act is a pure expression of courage. Similarly, throughout life, we are called to take our own first steps in unknown and challenging directions. Courage is what allows us to move forward, even when every fiber of our being wants to retreat. We all know the weight of fear. It paralyzes us, fills us with doubt, and makes us question our abilities. But fear is not the end of the story. The real magic happens when we acknowledge fear, face it, and transform it into a powerful force. Here, we won't just talk about heroic deeds in moments of crisis, but about the everyday acts of courage that shape who we are. The courage to say I love you without guarantees, to leave a secure job to follow a dream, to be authentic in a world that asks us to be someone else. These small, significant acts together build a life lived with purpose and passion. You might wonder, why is courage so essential? Because without it, our dreams remain dreams, our talents lie dormant, our aspirations never come to fruition. Courage is the key that unlocks our potential, the force that propels us beyond our limits. This book is not just to be read, but lived. With an open heart and receptive mind, we embark on this journey together. In the next chapter, we will begin to explore the essence of courage. We will discover its true origins and how it can be cultivated in our lives. It's there within you, believe it. Chapter 1. Discovering Inner Courage. Courage is a quality admired and revered across all cultures and eras. But what does it truly mean to be courageous? At its core, it is the act of facing fear and acting in spite of it. It is not just a characteristic, it is a driving force that propels us beyond the limits of fear, uncertainty, and adversity. But what is courage, really? And how does it differ from bravery, which is often confused with courage? Courage is the ability to act in the face of fear, risk, and pain. It is the act of confronting the unknown, even when every fiber of our being begs us to retreat. It is the inner strength that keeps us steady when the world around us is in chaos. Unlike bravery, which is often associated with heroic and bold acts, courage can be quiet and subtle. Bravery is the visible and often dramatic act of confronting danger. Courage is the internal, often invisible struggle to persevere through everyday challenges. Imagine a moment in your life when you felt paralyzed by fear. Perhaps it was the prospect of speaking in public, starting a new project, or confronting someone about something important. These moments are common to all of us. They remind us of our vulnerabilities, doubts, and weaknesses. However, it is precisely in these moments that courage manifests most powerfully. When we decide to take a step forward, we are exercising our courage. Each courageous act, no matter how small, is a victory over fear and an affirmation of our ability to overcome challenges. It is important to recognize that courage is not an innate trait, exclusive to heroes or exceptional figures. It is a quality that we all possess and can cultivate. Small acts of courage in daily life, such as expressing our feelings honestly, making difficult decisions, or simply persisting in the face of obstacles, are essential for developing a more robust and resilient courage. When we understand who we are and what we truly want, we can direct our lives more effectively and intentionally. We can use this inner strength to pursue our dreams, uphold our values, and live according to our deepest principles. Consider the areas where you would like to be more courageous. Think about the decisions you have been avoiding, the dreams you have been postponing, and the conversations you have been dreading. Remember that courage does not mean the absence of fear, but rather the decision not to let fear dictate your actions. Every courageous step you take is a step towards a fuller, more authentic, and meaningful life. In psychology, courage is seen as a central virtue. It is a quality that manifests in various forms: physical courage, moral courage, and emotional courage. Physical courage is evident in the actions of firefighters, soldiers, and first responders who risk their lives to save others. Moral courage appears when someone stands up against injustice, even if it means facing opposition. Emotional courage involves facing one's internal demons, dealing with trauma and vulnerabilities, and seeking healing and self-understanding. One of the most fascinating aspects of courage is that it does not arise from the absence of fear, but from the ability to act despite it. Studies show that courageous people are not those who do not feel fear, but those who can manage and overcome their fears. Courage is rooted in confidence and resilience. It is the belief that, regardless of what happens, we have the capacity to face and overcome it. Inspiring examples of courage are all around us if we know where to look. Think of Malala Yousafzai, who continued to fight for girls' education even after being shot by the Taliban. Her moral courage and determination have made her a global icon of resistance and hope. Or Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor who found purpose in adversity and used his experience to develop logotherapy, helping thousands find meaning in their lives. Closer to us, we find examples of courage in our everyday lives. The single mother working multiple jobs to support her children, the young person coming out in a society still filled with prejudice, or the elderly person learning to use technology to reconnect with family. These acts of courage, though they may not make headlines, are powerful testimonies to human resilience. The beauty of courage lies in the fact that it is accessible to all of us. We do not need to be war heroes or global activists to be courageous. Courage is present in the small daily decisions and the choices we make to be true to ourselves, to stand up for what we believe in, and to seek a better future even in the face of uncertainty. We are led to reflect on our own capacity to be courageous. Each of us possesses this inner flame, this latent strength that can be awakened in times of need. And it is precisely this capacity that connects us to the deepest essence of our humanity. Chapter 2. Recognizing and Understanding Fear. This chapter is an intimate invitation to explore the deepest recesses of your psyche, where your fears reside. It's a dive into darkness, not to get lost, but to find yourself. Imagine yourself on a journey through an unknown cave. At first, there's hesitation and trepidation, but each step reveals a new layer of yourself, a new understanding of who you truly are. Fear is a universal emotion, deeply rooted in our human nature. Since time immemorial, our ancestors experienced fear as a survival mechanism. It was the fear of predators in the forest, of impending storms, or of resource scarcity that kept them alive. This same fear, genetically transmitted through generations, now manifests in different ways in our modern lives. The fear of failure, rejection, the unknown, and change, all these are echoes of that ancestral protection. Scientifically, fear activates our limbic system, specifically the amygdala, the small almond-shaped structure in the brain responsible for our emotional responses. When confronted with a threat, real or imagined, the amygdala sends out alarm signals, flooding our bodies with stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. This process is known as the fight or flight response, designed to prepare us for danger. However, in today's world, where many threats are psychological rather than physical, this response can be misdirected, creating invisible barriers that prevent us from reaching our full potential. Recognizing and understanding your fears is the first step to mastering them. This is not a process of denial or repression, but of acceptance and comprehension. Think of your fears as frightened children within you, crying out for attention and care. Instead of pushing them away, you should embrace them, listen to them, and comfort them. It is in this moment of self-compassion that you begin to disarm the paralyzing power of fear. Let's do a simple but powerful exercise. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Now, think of a specific fear you have. Perhaps it's the fear of public speaking, starting a new project, or opening up emotionally to someone. Feel this fear, not as an enemy, but as a messenger. Ask yourself, what is this fear trying to protect me from? What is the hidden lesson here? By doing this, you are starting to transform your relationship with fear, from adversary to ally. You will discover that many of your fears are based on distorted perceptions and limiting beliefs. They are, in essence, ghosts of the past, fed by old experiences and traumas. The science of neuroplasticity shows us that the brain is malleable and capable of restructuring these beliefs through new experiences and conscious thoughts. Therefore, each time you face a fear, you are literally reshaping your brain to become more resilient and courageous. Allow yourself to feel proud of each small victory over fear. Every step taken, every risk embraced, every time you step outside your comfort zone is a celebration of your growing courage. Remember, courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to move forward despite it. It is the act of embracing the unknown with the confidence that, regardless of the outcome, you will be stronger and wiser. And so, I leave you with a reflection. What is the greatest fear that still holds you back? Think of it as a personal challenge. Each fear you conquer is one step closer to becoming the most authentic and fearless version of yourself. Indeed, the types of fears that surround us are as varied as the humans who experience them. Each fear has its own texture, its own bitter flavor, shaped by unique experiences and individual perceptions. Some fears are universal and ancestral, others are personal and contemporary. Imagine each fear as a dancing shadow on the wall of a dark cave, real in its appearance but ethereal in its essence. To understand fear, we need to bring light to these shadows, examining their shape and origin. Let's start with universal fears, those inherent to the human condition. The fear of death, for example, is a constant companion on life's journey. This fear is instinctive, rooted in our primordial desire for survival. Since prehistoric times, the fear of death kept our ancestors alert and vigilant against imminent dangers. Even today, it manifests in our hearts, influencing decisions and behaviors in subtle and profound ways. Another deeply rooted fear is the fear of failure. In a society that values success and achievement so highly, failure is seen as a mark of shame. This fear is often fueled by social expectations and severe self-criticism. The idea of not reaching our goals or disappointing those around us can be paralyzing. However, it's important to remember that failure is an essential part of the learning and growth process. Great innovators and leaders often failed numerous times before achieving success. There is also the fear of rejection, which touches on a deeply human aspect, the desire for belonging and acceptance. Since we were young, we sought the approval of our parents, friends, and society. Rejection, whether in a personal or professional context, can hurt deeply as it challenges our identity and self-esteem. But, like the fear of failure, the fear of rejection can be an opportunity to grow, to strengthen our resilience and self-confidence. More contemporary fears also have their roots in our specific experiences and contexts. The fear of change is one of them. We live in a constantly changing world, and the uncertainty of the future can be frightening. However, change is the only constant in life, and learning to navigate it with courage and flexibility is essential for our personal and professional development. The origin of fears can be traced to various sources. Childhood traumas, negative experiences, cultural influences, and even genetic predispositions can contribute to the formation of our fears. Understanding where our fear comes from is crucial to dismantling it. When we look at our past and recognize the roots of our fears, we begin to unravel the complex fabric of our emotions. How does fear manifest? It can present itself in various ways, through intrusive thoughts, physical reactions like sweating and accelerated heart rate, or avoidance behaviors. Fear can prevent us from making decisions, seizing opportunities, and living fully. However, it's important to note that fear, in itself, is not the enemy. It is a signal, a message from our body and mind indicating that something needs our attention. The importance of recognizing and accepting fear cannot be overstated. Denying or repressing fear only increases its power over us. Instead, by recognizing and accepting our fears, we disarm them. Accepting fear means looking at it with compassion, understanding its roots, and allowing yourself to feel vulnerable. It is through this acceptance that we find the strength to overcome it. And so, as we close this chapter, let me prepare you for the next step of this journey. Imagine yourself at the top of a mountain, with a breathtaking view all around. You are about to take a leap of faith, trusting that by facing your fears, you will discover wings you never knew you had. In the next chapter, we will explore how to transform this fear into courage, how to use those wings to fly towards your boldest and most inspiring dreams. The journey has only begun, and courage is waiting to be discovered within you. Chapter 3. Transforming Fear into Courage. Imagine standing before a vast ocean. The waves crash furiously against the shore, and the sound echoes in your ears like thunder. The immensity before you is terrifying, yet irresistibly inviting. This is the perfect metaphor for fear, an overwhelming giant that, at the same time, holds the key to our freedom and growth. Facing and overcoming fear is like navigating through these turbulent waters. It requires courage, resilience, and the willingness to challenge yourself at every moment. But what if I told you that within you lies the ability not just to face fear, but to master it, to transform it into a driving force? Fear is a primal emotion, deeply rooted in our psyche. It is a survival mechanism that alerts us to potential dangers. However, in many cases, fear becomes an obstacle, an invisible barrier that prevents us from reaching our true potential. The good news is that with the right techniques, we can transform this powerful emotion into an ally. It begins with a simple yet powerful step: breathing. Breathing is the anchor of our existence. When fear overwhelms us, the first thing to do is focus on our breath. Inhale deeply through your nose, feeling the air fill your lungs, and exhale slowly through your mouth. Repeat this several times. This exercise, though simple, has a profound impact on our nervous system, helping to calm the mind and reduce anxiety. Conscious breathing connects us to the present, anchoring us in the here and now, where fear cannot reach us. Fear is not something to be eliminated, but rather understood and managed. Facing fear head-on is the second step. Think of a situation that scares you. It might be public speaking, starting a new project, or even changing careers. Now, visualize yourself in that situation. Feel the fear in every cell of your body. Breathe deeply and allow yourself to be present with this emotion. Now, open your eyes. It might have been frightening, right? Now, close your eyes again and imagine yourself overcoming the obstacle that scares you. Visualize every detail: the environment, your actions, the sensations of victory. See yourself triumphing, feeling strong and invincible. The more vivid this image is in your mind, the more real it will become. Visualization is not just a mental exercise, it is psychological preparation that trains our brain for success. Have you ever heard about the power of anchoring? Anchors are physical or mental reminders that connect us to a desired emotional state. It could be a word, an object, or a memory that evokes strength and confidence. Use these anchors when you feel overwhelmed by fear, and let them bring you back to balance. Another powerful technique for facing fear is gradual exposure. Imagine you are afraid of heights. Instead of avoiding high places, start with small steps. Visit a 2-story building and look out the window. Gradually increase the height until you feel comfortable. This process of controlled exposure desensitizes your nervous system, making fear more manageable. An exceptional approach is cognitive restructuring. Our thoughts have immense power over our emotions. Often, fear is amplified by irrational and catastrophic thoughts. Ask yourself, what is the worst thing that could happen, and how would I handle it if it did happen? By challenging your negative thoughts, you create a more realistic and less frightening perspective. Social support is also crucial. Share your fears with friends, family, or a mentor. Vulnerability strengthens bonds and opens space for encouragement and practical advice. You are not alone in this journey. Everyone faces their own fears, and there is strength in solidarity. It is also essential to cultivate a growth mindset. Viewing fear as a learning opportunity transforms the experience. Instead of asking, "What if I fail?" ask, "What can I learn if this happens?" This shift in perspective fosters resilience and courage. Finally, never underestimate the power of action. Fear paralyzes, but action liberates. Any step in the direction of your fear can generate significant momentum. Each act of courage strengthens your confidence muscle and diminishes the power of fear. Life is an adventure full of challenges and opportunities. Fear is just a shadow on the path, and the light of courage is always within your reach. Facing fear is not easy, but it is the most rewarding journey you can undertake. Chapter 4. Building Self-Efficacy. Imagine a world where every step you take is filled with certainty, where confidence flows like a serene river, and the limiting beliefs that once stood like impenetrable walls now crumble like sandcastles. This world is not a distant utopia, it is within your reach, waiting to be discovered. The key to unlocking this territory of unlimited potential lies in the concept of self-efficacy, a powerful idea coined by renowned psychologist Albert Bandura. Self-efficacy is the belief in our ability to execute the actions needed to produce specific results. It is the confidence in our capacity to face challenges and overcome obstacles. Imagine climbing a mountain. Every time you look at the summit, it might seem daunting, but with each firm and determined step, you get closer to the peak. Self-efficacy works the same way. The more you believe you can, the further you will go. However, many of us are trapped in labyrinths of limiting beliefs. These are the internal voices that say, "I'm not good enough, I can't do this, I don't deserve success." They whisper in our ears, undermining our confidence and obscuring our path. But here's the secret, these beliefs are just stories we tell ourselves, stories that can be rewritten. Rewriting these narratives begins with recognizing their existence. Ask yourself, what are the stories you have been telling yourself? Where do they come from? Often, they are echoes of past experiences, others' criticisms, or momentary failures. But they do not define who you are or who you can become. An effective way to overcome these limiting beliefs is to challenge each one with contrary evidence. For example, if you believe you are not competent, make a list of your achievements and skills. Review it whenever doubt arises. Gradually, you will see that the evidence of your competence far outweighs any limiting belief. Now, imagine transforming this new belief into action. Confidence-building exercises can be powerful allies. Start with small daily victories. Each task completed, each new learning, each obstacle overcome is a brick in the construction of unshakable confidence. Deliberately step out of your comfort zone. It could be speaking in public, learning a new skill, or simply saying no when necessary. Each act of courage reinforces your self-efficacy. Stories of overcoming are beacons of hope for many. Consider the journey of Oprah Winfrey, who, from a childhood marked by extreme adversity, became one of the most influential figures in the world. Her story is a living testament to the power of self-efficacy and resilience. She did not allow the limiting beliefs of her youth to define her destiny. Instead, she rewrote her narrative with courage and determination. And what about J.K. Rowling, the brilliant mind behind Harry Potter? Before her success, she faced a series of rejections and personal challenges. But her unwavering belief in her talent and vision led her to persevere. Today, her work inspires millions of people around the world, showing that our dreams are possible when we believe in ourselves. Let's do this. Imagine yourself as a sculptor before a raw block of marble. At first, it may seem like just a shapeless stone, a monolithic challenge. However, with each chisel strike, each chip removed, you begin to reveal the magnificent form that has always been there, hidden beneath the surface. This marble is your life and your abilities, and you, the sculptor, have the power to shape them. Belief in yourself is like this sculpture. It doesn't arise overnight, but from a continuous process of chiseling, shaping, and polishing. Every action you take, every decision you make, is a chisel strike that shapes your self-confidence. And just as a sculptor needs patience, vision, and persistence, you also need these attributes to develop an unshakable belief in your abilities. The sculptor knows they will encounter imperfections in the marble. Cracks, veins, and impurities are part of the block, just as our fears, insecurities, and doubts are part of us. But instead of seeing these flaws as insurmountable obstacles, the true artist incorporates them into the work, transforming them into unique features that add beauty and authenticity. Similarly, your weaknesses and challenges are opportunities to show your resilience and creativity. In the process of sculpting your self-confidence, you will need to deal with criticism, both internal and external. Just as a sculptor might face criticism about their style or techniques, you will also hear voices questioning your choices and abilities. The key is to remember that constructive criticism can be used as a tool to enhance your work, while destructive criticism should be ignored. Focus on your vision and the outcome you want to achieve. As your masterpiece begins to take shape, you will feel a growing sense of accomplishment and pride. Each refined detail, each smoothed edge, is a testament to your dedication and skill. This transformation process not only shapes the stone but also shapes you. With each success, no matter how small, your belief in yourself strengthens, creating a solid foundation for future challenges. As the sculpture nears completion, you realize that what truly matters is not just the final product, but the journey of creation. Every moment of doubt overcome, every failed attempt that led to a new path, contributed to the final work. Likewise, your self-confidence is forged in the fire of lived experiences, and every step along the way is an essential part of your evolution. Now, imagine the feeling of completing this masterpiece. Of seeing the once hidden figure emerge clearly and definitively. That sense of accomplishment is just the beginning. Your newfound confidence is the foundation upon which you will build future projects and face new challenges. And it is this solid, well-crafted foundation that will give you the strength to keep moving forward, always sculpting, always growing. In the following pages, prepare to explore how this self-confidence can be applied in different areas of your life. Discover how this belief in yourself can influence your relationships, your career, and even your most ambitious dreams. Because, just like marble, your life is full of potential, waiting to be revealed by your skillful and determined hands. Chapter 5. Courage in Everyday Actions. Courage is not just a grand act performed in moments of extreme danger or adversity. It often manifests in everyday actions and seemingly small decisions that carry immense weight for our growth and well-being. Think of a typical day, the choices we make, the words we say or leave unsaid, the challenges we face with a racing heart, but with the determination of someone who knows that, at the end of the day, a small act of courage can transform our reality. Imagine this scenario: you are at a family gathering, a meeting where tensions might be high, and the opportunity arises to express a deep feeling, a truth you have carried for a long time but fear others' reactions. Courage, in this case, is finding your voice and speaking out. Perhaps you have harbored grievances or resentments that need to be aired so healing can begin. It might be an overdue apology or a declaration of love and gratitude you have always wanted to make. By expressing these feelings, you not only free yourself from an emotional burden but also create a space of authenticity and truth that can transform your closest relationships. Facing everyday challenges requires a silent, almost invisible courage that is incredibly powerful. Think about that difficult phone call you have been putting off, the honest conversation you need to have with a friend or family member, the decision to finally enroll in that course you have always wanted to take but have been held back by the fear of failure. These small acts of courage build a solid foundation for tackling more complex situations in the future. A practical example is practicing empathy. In a world where we are constantly connected but often emotionally disconnected, having the courage to be vulnerable and show empathy can be revolutionary. By truly listening to someone, offering a shoulder to lean on, or a word of support, you are not only helping the other person but also strengthening your own capacity to be courageous and resilient. Creating courageous habits involves the repetition of small actions that challenge our fear and discomfort. A powerful exercise is to do something daily that takes you out of your comfort zone. It could be something simple like taking a different route to work, starting a conversation with a stranger, or even trying out a new hobby. And then, when you least expect it, you realize that courage has become an intrinsic part of who you are. This continuous growth is like a tide that silently transforms the landscape around you, shaping rocks and creating new paths. Courage in everyday actions is the force that moves us beyond our fears, allowing us to live authentically and fully. It is the fuel that feeds our dreams and gives us the courage to pursue them fervently. And so, we move forward, one step at a time, one courageous act at a time, until we look back and see how far we have come, how much we have grown. In Chapter 6, we will explore how courage can transform not only our lives, but also inspire and impact those around us. Get ready to discover the transformative power of being an inspiration of courage in your social circle and beyond. Chapter 6. Courage in Interpersonal Relationships. Within each of us lies a dormant strength, a potential for boldness that we often keep hidden behind curtains of insecurity and fear. Imagine how different your life could be if you unleashed this strength, if you stopped hiding and faced the world head-on, especially in your relationships. Relationships are the essence of our existence. They define us, challenge us, and make us grow. Yet, it is often in these relationships that we show our greatest weaknesses. How many times have you found yourself avoiding a difficult conversation with someone you love? How often have you opted for silence, the easier path, out of fear of causing discomfort or exposing yourself? The truth is, these moments of hesitation are not just small personal defeats, but also missed opportunities for growth and for building deeper, more meaningful connections. Developing courage in relationships is an act of self-transformation. It requires us to look inward and confront our deepest fears, the fear of rejection, the fear of not being loved, the fear of being judged. When we allow these fears to govern our actions, we become prisoners of our own minds, constructing invisible barriers that prevent us from truly connecting with others. But how do we awaken this inner courage? How do we transform our fears into allies rather than enemies? The answer lies in the daily practice of vulnerability. Being vulnerable is, in essence, being courageous. It is the willingness to be seen as we really are, with all our imperfections and weaknesses. It is accepting that we are human, and that to be human is to be imperfect. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we create space for true intimacy. Revealing our feelings, exposing our doubts and insecurities, and speaking honestly about our desires and needs not only liberates us, but also encourages others to do the same. Courage is contagious. By being courageous, we inspire those around us to be courageous as well. Imagine the strength of a relationship where both sides feel safe to express their true feelings, where there is room for honest and open dialogue, where fear does not dictate the rules. This is the power of courage. It not only transforms our relationships, but also transforms us as individuals. There is a science behind this transformation. Studies show that vulnerability and emotional honesty are essential for building healthy and lasting relationships. When we are authentic, we create an environment of trust and mutual respect. And it is this trust that allows relationships to flourish. However, being courageous does not mean being reckless. Courage must be balanced with wisdom and empathy. It is important to choose the right moments to open up and to know how to communicate our feelings in a way that builds, rather than destroys, connections. This requires practice and often guidance. But every small step on this journey of courage is worth it. Think about the times you felt most connected with someone. There were probably moments when you or the other person had the courage to be true. These are the moments that mark us, that define the depth and quality of our relationships. Vulnerability is not just an inevitable condition, but a vital compass pointing towards authenticity and genuine human connection. Being vulnerable is, paradoxically, an act of extreme courage, as it requires us to shed the armor we've built to protect ourselves from emotional storms and present ourselves to the world in our truest form. Vulnerability is the essence of courage. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we open doors to difficult conversations, the ones we often avoid out of fear of rejection or judgment. However, it is precisely in these conversations that we find the opportunity for growth and the strengthening of our relationships. Think about that conversation you've been postponing, the dialogue that unsettles you just thinking about it. Facing this situation, opening your heart, and expressing your feelings honestly and openly is one of the most powerful acts you can perform. Because by exposing your weaknesses, you invite the other to do the same, creating a safe space where both can share and grow together. Setting boundaries is another crucial aspect of vulnerability. Boundaries are not impenetrable walls, but carefully and respectfully drawn lines, both for ourselves and for others. They delineate where we end and the other begins, ensuring our needs and values are respected. Establishing clear and firm boundaries is an act of self-love and a demonstration of respect for our emotions and personal space. It's not an easy task. It requires self-knowledge and the courage to say no when necessary, but the fruits of this practice are healthier and more balanced relationships. Building relationships based on trust is the foundation of any meaningful human interaction. Trust is not something gained overnight. It is a continuous process of building, sustained by small daily acts of honesty, loyalty, and empathy. When we trust someone, we give part of our vulnerability to that person, believing they will treat it with the care and respect it deserves. Thus, trust becomes a powerful link, capable of uniting individuals in a deep and lasting way. It's important to remember that we are all imperfect beings, endowed with flaws and weaknesses. True strength lies not in masking our imperfections, but in accepting them and learning to grow from them. Every emotional scar, every fear faced, and every difficult conversation overcome adds a layer of resilience to our soul. And it is this resilience that enables us to navigate the turbulent waters of life with confidence and grace. As we navigate these challenging seas, it is crucial to remember that vulnerability, boundaries, and trust are our most valuable tools. They allow us to build bridges instead of barriers, create bonds instead of walls, and live fully and authentically. So today, I challenge you to take the first step. Choose an important person in your life and have a courageous conversation. Talk about something you've been avoiding, express a feeling you've been holding back, apologize if necessary. Remember, true strength lies in showing your humanity and being vulnerable. Prepare yourself, because in the next chapter, we will explore courage in the workplace. We will uncover how being authentic and bold can transform your career, face professional challenges, and create a space where innovation and trust flourish. If you are ready for this journey of growth and discovery, continue with us and learn to apply the courage of being vulnerable to reach new heights in your professional life. Chapter 7. Innovation and Courage at Work. Imagine you are in a meeting room, surrounded by colleagues and superiors. The tension in the air is palpable. There's a critical problem to solve, a challenge everyone hesitates to address. The fear of failure hangs like an oppressive shadow. In such a moment, it's easy to choose silence, retreat to the comfort zone, and let someone else take the lead. But this is precisely where courage finds its most powerful role. Courage is the voice that whispers in the face of adversity, "You can do this." In the professional realm, courage manifests in many ways, from presenting an innovative idea that could revolutionize a project, admitting a mistake that could cost a contract, to standing firm in ethical principles when pressured to compromise. These acts of bravery are not just isolated events, they are the foundations of a resilient and dynamic work environment. Imagine proposing an innovative strategy in a meeting, knowing it could take your team to new heights or require reevaluation and adjustment. Visualize navigating a conflict with a colleague, choosing to address it directly and constructively instead of letting it fester. Think about moments when ethical dilemmas arise, and you stand firm, knowing integrity is the cornerstone of long-term success. But let's not romanticize courage without acknowledging its challenges. It requires vulnerability, exposing you to criticism and scrutiny. It demands resilience, the ability to bounce back from setbacks and keep moving forward. It necessitates empathy, understanding the perspectives and emotions of others involved. These qualities are not innate, they are cultivated through conscious effort and practice. One way to build courage is by setting small, achievable goals that gradually push your limits. Start by expressing your thoughts in smaller team meetings before facing larger forums. Seek feedback on your ideas, using constructive criticism as a tool for refinement. Celebrate your successes, no matter how minor they seem, and learn from your mistakes without self-recrimination. Another powerful strategy is seeking mentors and role models who exemplify courage in their professional lives. Their experiences and guidance can provide invaluable insights and inspiration. Remember, courage is contagious. When one person dares to act, it often encourages others to do the same, creating a domino effect of positive change within the organization. Now let's reflect on a common fear faced by many professionals, the fear of failure. This fear can be paralyzing, often leading to inaction and stagnation. It's like an invisible giant silently dwelling in the hearts of many professionals, whispering doubts and sowing hesitations. This fear is often the greatest obstacle to our growth and success. However, facing it is a vital necessity for anyone who desires true fulfillment in their career. It is an inevitable part of the journey toward success. Consider Thomas Edison, who famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Every failure is a step, a lesson learned, a path to eventual triumph. Adopting this mindset transforms fear into fuel for growth, breaking barriers and forging new horizons. Have you ever stood on the brink of an important decision at work? One that could alter the course of your professional trajectory? Fear can arise like a whirlwind, bringing memories of past mistakes and anxiety about the unknown. In such a moment, it's easy to remain paralyzed. But true courage lies in moving forward, even when the path ahead seems uncertain. Taking calculated risks is the art of balancing fear with reason. It's not about blindly jumping into an abyss, but carefully evaluating possibilities, planning wisely, and then taking the decisive step. Think of the great leaders we admire, Steve Jobs, for example. He didn't build Apple by accepting the status quo. He dared to think differently, faced failures, and through them, reinvented the future. Practices of courageous leadership involve not only the ability to make bold decisions, but also the skill to inspire your team to do the same. A courageous leader does not hide behind policies or procedures. They stand at the forefront, willing to take responsibility for risks and protect their team from negative repercussions. This type of leadership creates an environment where innovation flourishes, as each team member feels safe to contribute bold ideas and experiment with new approaches without fear of reprisal. Professional success stories often begin with an act of courage. Consider Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx. She turned a simple idea into a billion-dollar empire, facing uncertainties and rejections along the way. Her story is a testament that success often arises from risk, persistence, and the ability to learn from failures. However, courage in the professional environment is not just about grand gestures. Often, it reveals itself in everyday actions, speaking the truth in a difficult meeting, offering support to a colleague in trouble, or asking for help when needed. These small demonstrations of bravery create a culture of trust and resilience, essential for long-term success. What we can learn from these stories and practices is that the fear of failure should not be seen as an enemy but as an ally. It alerts us to dangers, keeps us vigilant, and drives us to prepare better. By facing this fear head-on, acknowledging it without letting it dominate us, we become stronger and more determined. As you embark on this journey of cultivating courage, remember it is a continuous process, not a destination. Every act of bravery, no matter how small, contributes to your growth and to improving your professional environment. The courage to innovate, to confront, to maintain integrity, these are the qualities that define true leadership and pave the way for a fulfilling and impactful career. Take a deep breath, embrace the possibility of failure as a stepping stone to success, and prepare to transform your professional life. The path to a courageous and impactful career lies ahead, ready to be walked. Now, as we conclude this chapter, let your mind fixate on the possibilities that await. How will you apply this new understanding of courage in your daily professional life? What steps will you take to push your limits and inspire those around you? In the next chapter, we will delve into practical techniques for self-awareness. Ready? Chapter 8. The Inner Journey, Strengthening Courage. In our daily lives, we encounter situations that test our limits and challenge us to step out of our comfort zones. However, the true fuel of courage lies in self-awareness. When we understand who we are, our strengths and weaknesses, we can chart a clearer and more determined path toward our goals. Like a warrior before a battle, He does not advance solely with brute strength. He deeply understands each move, each strategy, and, most importantly, he knows himself. He knows where he might falter, but also has full awareness of where his strength lies. This introspection is no different for us, who fight daily battles, be they professional, personal, or emotional. The first step toward strengthening courage is looking within. Facing our shadows can be frightening, but it is there, in this unexplored territory, that we find the raw material of our bravery. Every fear, every insecurity carries a valuable lesson. The fear of failure, for example, reveals our desire for success. Anxiety in the face of the unknown shows our yearning for control. By recognizing these feelings not as enemies but as parts of ourselves that need to be understood and integrated, we begin to build a solid foundation of self-confidence. Remember the times when you exceeded your own expectations. Those small daily victories, often overlooked, are testimonials to your ability to face adversity. Every challenge overcome, every obstacle surmounted, is proof that courage already resides within you, waiting to be awakened. It is essential to nurture these memories because they are reminders that you can go beyond. Again, it is crucial to understand that vulnerability is not synonymous with weakness. On the contrary, accepting our vulnerability is an act of courage. This authenticity strengthens us because it frees us from the shackles of perfectionism and the need to please. Being courageous often means admitting that we don't have all the answers but are willing to learn and evolve. The deeper we delve into ourselves, the clearer our values and purposes become. And it is this clarity that gives us the courage to move forward, even when the path seems uncertain. Connecting with your human traits and weaknesses is an invitation to self-acceptance. Recognize your limitations, but do not let them define you. Use them as fuel to grow and strengthen your resilience. True courage arises when we accept our humanity in all its complexity. Discovering oneself is like opening a portal to an unexplored universe. Imagine yourself on a heroic journey where each step reveals hidden secrets about who you really are. Techniques for self-awareness are like magical tools capable of uncovering the deepest mysteries of your being. Through them, you begin to perceive not only your strengths but also the shadows that dwell within you, those parts of you that are afraid, that hesitate, that hide. These shadows, far from being villains, are actually allies waiting to be understood and integrated. Meditation and mindfulness are like golden keys that open doors to realms of inner peace and mental clarity. Imagine yourself sitting in a field of flowers, each petal a worry that you slowly let go of. The regular practice of meditation is the art of being present, of feeling the weight of your body against the earth, of hearing the sound of your breath as a constant, soothing melody. It is in this state of presence that you begin to notice the beauty of the moment, finding serenity that transcends the chaos of daily life. But the journey does not end in contemplation. Creating a personal action plan is the next step, the map that will guide your actions toward your most daring dreams. It's like drawing a path on an ancient parchment, each line traced with intention and purpose. Ask yourself, where do you want to be in a year, 5 years, 10 years? What milestones will define your journey? This plan is not rigid, it is flexible like a plant that grows toward the light, adapting to circumstances but always with roots firmly grounded in your inner truth. Self-care practices are the rituals that sustain your journey. Imagine yourself in a temple dedicated to your well-being, where each act of care is a sacred sacrifice in honor of yourself. Getting enough sleep, eating foods that nourish body and soul, exercising not just to stay in shape but to feel vitality pulsing in every cell. Self-care is the foundation upon which you build your great work of art, which is your life. Engaging in these practices requires courage and commitment. It is facing the parts of you that resist, that are afraid of change, that prefer the comfort zone. But remember, it is in discomfort that you grow. It is in vulnerability that you find your true strength. Every step you take towards self-awareness, meditation, planning, and self-care is a step toward your best version. And so, with these tools in hand, you are prepared for the next phase of your journey. Like an explorer who sights new lands on the horizon, you feel empowered and inspired to continue. The next chapter will be about facing great challenges and the importance of persevering even when the path becomes difficult. Get ready to discover that within you lies a hero ready to conquer any terrain and achieve the impossible. Chapter 9. Overcoming Great Challenges. There are moments in life when we face challenges that seem insurmountable, obstacles that test every fiber of our being, forcing us to confront our greatest fears and insecurities. Facing and overcoming these challenges is a journey that transforms us, shapes our character, and defines who we are. The road can be arduous, filled with unexpected turns and painful detours, but it is precisely in these adversities that we find the essence of true courage and resilience. Imagine standing before a colossal mountain, its peaks disappearing into the clouds. The first look is one of awe, the second, of doubt. You wonder if you are capable, if you have the strength necessary to reach the top. But here lies the secret: the challenge is not just in the mountain, but within you. Each step toward the summit is a victory over your own limitations, a triumph of determination over doubt. The journey begins with a single step, a move toward the unknown. It is not the size of the step that matters, but the consistency with which you advance. With each obstacle overcome, you discover a new reservoir of inner strength. Exhaustion and discouragement are inevitable companions, but they are also the teachers that impart the most valuable lessons: patience, persistence, and self-belief. To face significant challenges, it is crucial to recognize and accept our weaknesses. No one is invulnerable. We all have fears and insecurities. However, courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to move forward despite it. Every time you face a difficulty, you are strengthening this courage, becoming more resilient and prepared for the next challenge. And just like climbing a mountain, there will be moments when you need to stop and catch your breath. These breaks are not signs of weakness, but of wisdom. They allow you to reflect on the journey so far, adjust your strategies, and continue with renewed energy and clarity of purpose. Resilience is not a sprint, but a marathon of endurance. Connecting with human traits and weaknesses is essential for this journey. In this connection, we find collective strength, empathy, and mutual support. By sharing our struggles and triumphs, we inspire one another and create a support network that sustains us through the toughest times. Never underestimate the power of community and emotional support. They are as vital as individual strength. And then, when you finally reach the top, the view will be an indescribable reward. You will see not just the landscape before you, but also the path you have traveled, the battles fought and won. Every scar, every tear, and every moment of doubt will have transformed into symbols of your strength and perseverance. Historically, great stories of overcoming are testimonies of human strength in its purest form. Thomas Edison, for instance, failed 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb. Nelson Mandela faced 27 years of imprisonment before becoming president of South Africa and a global symbol of resilience and reconciliation. These narratives are not just tales of success, but of persistence, resilience, and above all, how obstacles can be transformed into opportunities. So, how do we turn our own fears into springboards for personal growth? The answer begins within us. Each challenge, each obstacle is a disguised opportunity, a lesson waiting to be learned. When we view our fears not as enemies but as teachers, we begin to see the world differently. Transformation occurs when we decide that we will no longer be victims of our circumstances but architects of our destiny. A powerful strategy is fragmentation. Break down a large fear into smaller, more manageable parts. If the fear of public speaking is overwhelming, start by speaking to small groups of friends. Gradually increase the size of the audience until speaking to a crowd becomes natural. Each small victory strengthens confidence and builds a solid foundation for facing larger challenges. Furthermore, the importance of a support network cannot be underestimated. Friends, family, and mentors play a crucial role in our journey. They are the voices that encourage us when we want to give up, the shoulders we cry on, and the ones who celebrate our victories. Surrounding yourself with people who believe in you and your dreams is fundamental. They not only offer emotional support, but also valuable perspectives that can illuminate the path when everything seems dark. Stories of overcoming are full of moments where people found unimaginable strength in their support networks. When Oprah Winfrey faced extreme adversities in her childhood, it was the support of teachers and mentors that helped her become the influential figure she is today. They believed in her when she doubted herself, proving that the faith of others can be the spark that ignites the fire of self-confidence. Facing fears is ultimately a process of personal transformation. It's about rewriting the narrative of our lives, where obstacles become chapters of learning and growth. Each fear faced and overcome is a badge of honor on life's journey, a testament that we are stronger than we imagined. And so, at the end of this chapter, I leave you with a powerful reflection. What are your greatest fears, and how can they become the greatest opportunities of your life? All right, we are nearing the end of this book. In the final chapter, I want to show you how to keep the flame of courage burning from here on out. Shall we go on? Chapter 10. Keeping Courage Alive. Keeping the flame of courage burning is a constant challenge, a journey that requires more than simple bravery. It requires an inner strength that transcends fear, an unshakable determination that drives us to continue even in the face of adversity. Like a battlefield, where the fights are internal and the adversaries are our own fears and insecurities, true courage manifests not as an isolated act but as a continuous and conscious practice. To ensure the continuity of the practice of courage, it is essential to understand that it needs to be exercised regularly. It's not about grand heroic gestures, but small daily actions that build a fortress of bravery within us. It can be something as simple as speaking in public, defending an idea in a meeting, or facing a personal problem with honesty and integrity. Each of these acts contributes to building a courageous character. True courage comes from understanding that we are human, imperfect, and susceptible to error. Embracing our weaknesses makes us stronger because it allows us to grow and learn from each experience. It is through these failures that we find the opportunity to be courageous. Don't run from your fears. Instead, face them head-on and use them as fuel for your personal development. Additionally, surround yourself with people who inspire and support your journey. Courage is contagious, and being around individuals who practice bravery in their own lives can be a powerful source of motivation. Share your experiences, exchange stories, and learn from the challenges others have faced. This exchange not only strengthens your spirit, but also creates a support network vital for the continuity of any personal growth practice. Remember to set clear and challenging goals. Well-defined objectives provide purpose and direction for your courage. Every step toward these goals is a test of your bravery, an invitation to step out of your comfort zone and explore new territories. And remember, no matter how small these steps may seem, each one is a victory that should be celebrated. Maintaining the practice of courage alive and constant is a commitment to your own evolution. It is an act of self-love that reverberates in all areas of your life, bringing a profound sense of fulfillment and purpose. Each new day, each new challenge, you have the opportunity to choose courage. Make this choice consciously and see how your life transforms in unimaginable ways. But how do you do this, especially when facing the inevitable setbacks, the moments when doubt and fears try to bring us down? First, it is crucial to recognize that setbacks are part of the process. Just as a child learns to walk by falling and getting up multiple times, our journey of courage also includes stumbles. These moments are not failures but valuable learning opportunities. Every time we face a setback, we gain a new perspective, a deeper understanding of ourselves and our fears. The key is not to be discouraged, but to use these experiences as springboards to leap even higher. To deal with setbacks, develop a solid support system. This can include friends, family, or mentors who can offer advice, encouragement, and sometimes just a silent presence that reminds us we are not alone. Additionally, practice self-reflection regularly. By identifying the triggers that lead to setbacks, you can develop specific strategies to address them. Keep a journal where you can record your thoughts, feelings, and progress. This record will serve as a compass, guiding you back to the path of courage whenever you feel lost. Another vital aspect of maintaining courage is celebrating achievements. Every small victory, every step toward your goals, deserves to be recognized and celebrated. The celebration doesn't need to be grand. It can be a simple moment of gratitude, a pause to appreciate the progress made, or even a reward you give yourself. These celebrations are tangible reminders of your strength and resilience, reinforcing the idea that, yes, you are capable. They act as small sparks that keep the fire of courage alive and pulsating. By celebrating your achievements, you become a source of inspiration for others. Your journey, with all its struggles and triumphs, has the power to encourage those around you. Share your stories, talk about your battles, and how you overcame them. Often, we don't realize the impact our own experiences can have on someone facing similar challenges. Your courage can be the beacon that lights someone else's path, guiding them out of the darkness of fear. Inspire others by being authentic. True courage is not about being invincible, but about being real. Show your vulnerabilities, your imperfections. When people see that you, despite your flaws, continue to move forward with courage, they feel encouraged to do the same. Authenticity creates a deep and meaningful connection, which is the foundation of any inspiring relationship. Keeping the practice of courage is a daily commitment, a constant dance between facing fears and celebrating victories. Each day brings a new opportunity to choose courage, to strengthen this quality that is essential for our personal evolution. And don't forget to look around and see the impact your bravery is having on the world. You are an inspiration, a beacon of hope and strength. Finally, cultivate self-compassion. Being courageous also means being kind to yourself. Acknowledge your efforts, celebrate your achievements, and above all, forgive yourself for your failures. The journey of courage is long and full of obstacles, and it is essential to treat yourself with the same compassion you would offer a dear friend. I am happy that you have come this far. These are my final thoughts for you guys. The journey of continually maintaining courage is one of the most challenging and rewarding endeavors we can undertake. Along this path, we learn that courage is not a gift reserved for a few, but a quality that all of us can cultivate, strengthen, and celebrate. Let's recap the main points we've covered and renew our determination to keep practicing courage every day. We understand that courage is a muscle that needs to be exercised regularly. Each small act of bravery, each decision made despite fear, helps to strengthen our ability to face challenges. We recognize that courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to act even when we are afraid. This is the essence of true everyday heroism. We have learned to deal with the inevitable setbacks. Each stumble, each moment of doubt, is an opportunity for learning. Instead of letting these moments bring us down, we use these experiences to grow and become more resilient. We create support systems, practice self-reflection, and identify triggers that might cause us to falter. We understand that it is through these setbacks that we discover our true strength. Celebrating achievements has become a fundamental pillar. Each victory, no matter how small, deserves to be recognized and celebrated. These celebrations are more than just moments of joy, they are tangible proof of our ability to overcome challenges. They reinforce our confidence and remind us of our resilience. With each celebration, we feed the flame of courage within us, making it stronger and more vibrant. Inspiring others was another crucial point. Through our own journey of courage, we have the power to influence and encourage those around us. By sharing our stories of bravery and vulnerability, we create authentic and meaningful connections. Our authenticity and honesty not only make us more courageous, but also offer a beacon of hope to those still struggling with their own battles. Don't let fear control your life. Every day, make a conscious choice to practice courage. Whether it's facing a challenge at work, dealing with a personal conflict, or pursuing a dream that seems unattainable, remember that each act of courage, no matter how small, is a step toward a fuller and more meaningful life. Reflecting on the importance of courage, we see that it is the foundation of all great achievements. It is courage that allows us to love deeply, create passionately, and live authentically. It is courage that gives us the strength to get back up after every fall, to keep moving forward when all seems lost, and to find hope in the darkest situations. Courage is not a final destination but a continuous journey. It is a daily commitment to being true to yourself, facing your fears head on, and never giving up, no matter how difficult the path. With each new day, each new challenge, you have the opportunity to renew this commitment and become the courageous person you were destined to be. So, rise with renewed determination. Feel the power of courage pulsing within you. Let it guide your steps, light your path, and inspire everyone around you. The journey is long, but you are prepared. With every act of bravery, every courageous decision, you are building a life of purpose, passion, and fulfillment. Continue to practice courage. Celebrate your achievements. Inspire others with your authenticity. And remember, courage is within you, ready to be awakened with each new dawn. Be courageous. Be yourself. And live life with all the intensity and passion it deserves.